And so we begin with Nota versus UE in the third matchup of the round-robin portion of the RU Gaming... What the hell did I call this thing?
Torment?
The RU Gaming Torment Series 2018.
Well, it's technically Torment 2. Is what it's called on the official website.
I defer to Mr. Zach, but when you search on YouTube, search for my terminology.
Ravage Universe StarCraft 2, Torment number 2. Torment Strikes Back.
Okay, so Control Shift 3. And so we have normal game. Protoss, pylon to a gateway, making probes. Shocker. Over on the Terran side of the map, the early workings of a wall and an early geyser. Same old, same old. And we see this probe going unnoticed into UE's main, ducking right into the deepest nook and cranny of the base, learning from his previous experience against Mr. Zach. Probe once again going unobserved right through UE's base. Do I never put a worker on this thing? Oh, there I go. Good God, I'm bad.
Why would you waste Ooh, who's gonna get the kill?
So as you can see, I have a worker scouring the map for this proxy that I know is happening somewhere. I have another SCV scouring the map looking for this proxy. This one's probably already checked all up in this space here and all the way down here in this space. And I know, I've looked at his base. By now, Nota should have something more than a pylon and a gateway. Where is the rest of his shit? Where is it? I can't find it. You can see, ever so slightly, the areas where my SCVs have been on the map. See this one now heading down to check the southerly areas. This one having checked all of these. Can't find the proxy. Where's the proxy? It's right here.
And he's warping it in.
The recall into the Terran main with overwhelming force of probes and zealots. And the Terran having no units in response. There's just one Reaper over here doing nothing. A panicked response hoping to get a Hellion out and failing. Lifting off, blocking the Protoss attack into the main base and trying to fly down to the low ground to hopefully mount some kind of defense. Unfortunately, UEAdmiral has no minerals in the bank and cannot repair his wall, and he's not working. The Marines will come out and kill one or two things before the Zealots find them and clean up.
The Reaper's trying to be annoying.
Yes, the Reaper is trying to be annoying, but not really able to do a whole heck of a lot, while Yui's attention is on trying not to die to the swarm of probes. Yui cancels the CC in the hopes of getting some minerals to make units, opting to go for a Widow Mine, not realizing he still needs the upgrade to make that cloak. But it doesn't much matter because this mine will never come to pass, as the factory is successfully destroyed by the probes and zealots.
So what's going through your head right now?
I've already lost, but maybe Nota is bad enough that I can rebuild if I go fly off somewhere nice and safe. If I can get some units out, I might be able to do what I usually do and just micro well enough that I do a whole lot of work with only a handful of units. I'm trying to A-move with my SCVs, but I've set them to auto-repair. And so A-moving with SCVs is resulting in them repairing themselves instead of attacking.
By that orbital command was close line of fire.
Yes, that's why I lifted it off.
I would have knocked it off sooner. It was very close.
So I'm just trying to hide my workers so that my workers don't die while I'm not paying attention. I'm going to move up and use what resources I have to try to hide my tech structures, because I don't have any depots anymore, and I can't build a barracks. So I'm going to hide a depot somewhere. I hide it in Nota's third, and I try to fly my CC off somewhere where I can utilize my energy on the orbital command and start mining with mules while keeping my SCVs safe up in the obscure corner. Kind of banking on the notion that Nota didn't look at his mini-map to see where my orbital command went. And indeed, that plays out as his zealots start moving off in the wrong direction. Fortunately, he is wise enough to scout in 2 directions and will, before too long, find my CC once again. Well, we can't lose the CC. Let's use one of our mules to repair while the other's mine. We need the resources. Keep the CC from dying! Keep the CC from dying! Meanwhile, as I'm getting slaughtered by a single zealot, Nota is building up, getting his geysers, getting himself more zealots, more workers.
Starport.
And a starport, yes.
Stargate.
Starport, Stargate, Starhate, who knows?
Starspire.
Starspire, perfect. The Nota has a fully saturated base, while I'm just still kind of flying around, trying to delay the inevitable.
Yes, pylons remain natural, but it doesn't have warp gate and warp units into them.
Who needs warp gate when you have a nexus in your enemy's base? Just recall when you need. So my thought right now is I have all this gas, or at least I did some time ago. I may as well try to make some Reapers, something I can micro against Nota's as yet entirely mineral-based composition. Because obviously I can't compete economically.
Batteries.
Once again, my CC is discovered by a lone zealot, and there's not a damn thing I can do about the damn thing. So I just leave him to whack on that while I acquire some resources. Yes, chase my SCVs. Chase my SCVs. Let me mine.
You said that all the audio over the mic is not good.
Oh, for the love of Pete. All audio but Yui's mic is fucked. Why? Why?
Yeah, it sounds pretty messed up.
I don't know how to fix that without turning the stream off and on. Usually it's my mic that's fucked up and I can just unplug my mic and plug it back in, but it doesn't sound like that's the case here. But as you can see, Nota popped out with an Oracle, which I didn't know he had a Stargate yet, and he's taking care of my microable units. I'm just going to push through the bad audio for the remainder of this game. It shouldn't last too terribly much longer. So here the remaining Reapers arrive at the Protoss Natural and find Adepts, units very well equipped to deal with Reapers. Meanwhile, that one Zealot, 14 kill, 15 kill Zealot. All I'm trying to do is just get an engineering bay up so I can deal with the Oracle. It's just not gonna happen. Hero Zealot, 17 kills. Where are the Reapers in all this? Oh, the Reapers are out here trying to micro against the Adepts. Yeah, it's not gonna work. And the engineering bay completes. And another SCV dies. 18 kills on the Hero Zealot. Repair the engineering bay. 19 kills. Some attempted aggression here in the Protoss Natural, using sacrificial marines to eat adept attacks, and then the flank. Because my Reapers were literally the entire map away. The only way I was going to come out of this, in any way, shape, or form, wasn't going to be by recovering my economy. I had to kill Nota. I had to kill him. And that wasn't going to happen playing defensive. So here the Reapers come back and deal with the Zealot. I did bring them back after I found I could not attack Nota. Nota had more than enough in the way of defenses at his base. But until that time... So here's the turret going up, after all the workers are dead. But at least I won't die to an Oracle. I guess those used to be Marines? Not much for me to do now, other than try to knock down the few things I can knock down. Very action-packed game, this one. Nota, now unbeknownst to me, building carriers. Who builds carriers against a Terran that you've punished this much? So these Zealots eventually will be whittled down, but 2 Reapers will not be able to micro against a Void Ray and 2 carriers, now crossing the map to deliver the finishing blow. Oh look, another Zealot. Another terrifying, overpowering Zealot! The Reapers arrive to try to contend with them. Follow me, they say. Follow me, pay no attention to the base. And then the Void Ray. Shit! Repair the turret! Void Ray will be repelled by the turret, and then the carriers arrive. And carriers with Zealot support will finally terminate this game.
Production.
I can't leave.
Picture audio.
Here. Okay, so my first... Well, answer me this. Is Mr. Zach's voice all screwy?
Yeah. Let's stop talking.
Disconnected.
Is the game audio all screwy?
connected.
And has relaunching
Yes.
TeamSpeak fixed it?
I don't know. Oh, I think it has fixed it.
Okay, so we'll try to get away with just closing StarCraft and reopening it. And the doggie's being demanding and wanting a second outing.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to relaunch StarCraft, throw up an intermission banner. And I will return in hopefully less than 10 minutes. Yeah, no, I'm gonna call bullshit on the doggy. I figure if a dog really wants to go outside, they'll get up when you call them. She didn't. Okay, so that was game 1, I believe.
Yes.
So we will now load game 2 of Nota versus UE. But we can't actually do that because I don't have the crown. My head has become heavier.
So it should be blue shift.
It is blue shift. Can anyone indicate whether the StarCraft 2 sounds are all screwed up before I start this replay?
I mean, when you shut off TeamSpeak, it seemed to fix it. So
It doesn't mean it'll work for StarCraft.
no one's responding, and I already switched headphones. He says sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
So Control Shift 3. I think you want to do Control 2? Or Control 1, sorry?
Control 1.
Yeah. No, it didn't score 2 points with that game. Just 1.
And as we can see, as I make repeated mention every time I start a new game, normal ass, normal game. Protoss makes a pylon, Terran makes a supply depot. Terran makes a geyser, Protoss makes a gateway. Probe crosses the map. SCV crosses the map. Probe is noticed entering the base. Let's not have that happen again, shall we? Am I not putting a worker on this one either? I try to catch the idle probe, but he slips out.
All that lost mining time.
SCV, having taken one look into the Protoss base, waiting for a few more things to happen before taking another look and spotting the Cyber Core. Perrin will grab a Reaper
Let's get
for
those probe.
additional future scouting. probe goes down. 2 SCVs sit idle. While the third SCV is microed over here for the Terran gas steal. Ha 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 ha! SCV, though attempted escape, failed to escape. One good turn deserves another. And here we have the Terran attempting to get out a reactor so that he can start making some reactored cyclones. Wait, that doesn't work anymore. How will I fix that? Now let's work down the refinery. Turn off Terran gas steel. More zealots begin to cross the map. More zealots will soon join them. But Warp Gate still does not seem to be underway. The Microed Reaper. Go for the scout.
Scout denied.
Evade. Oh my, adepts, flee.
Blood adepts. Very clever hide there.
Hide?
You evaded.
Oh.
A clever evade, I should say.
So, what is there to do other than make mines? Because I can't reactor out cyclones. And the mines will be quickly cleaned up, unfortunately. So there's a pretty scary Protoss attack crossing the map. And our Terran hero has absolutely nothing to answer it.
Your Terran hero is the mine. Mines are OP.
But the mines are not upgraded, because the factory never had a tech lab. So this mine will get 1 kill, and then stop existing. The panic begins. The Terran will attempt to pump out a couple of Hellions. And a
How much
cloaked
damage
Banshee.
does a mine do, exactly?
A mine does 125 damage, plus, I believe, 35 to shields.
Oh, okay. Because it does one-shot a Zealot, apparently. But I saw in another game, they were not one-shotting Zealots. But I assume there was armor upgrades and stuff.
It would explain it. So the attempt at a defense begins. The Hellions will micro against the Zealots and the Adepts. Ducking behind the wall. And out comes the Banshee to take out everything that can't shoot up.
Except there's nothing that shoots up.
But our Terran is terribly well contained by this not too shabby Protoss attack, which allowed the Protoss to expand and secure their natural. So the clutch defense turns into an attempted attack, pushing the Protoss army into a reverse contain. From one contain to another. And she slips around the cannons and starts picking off workers.
Let's see how long these workers stay where they are.
Timestamp 6 minutes. Additional Hellions arriving at the front. Nota responding with an oracle across the right-hand side of the map. Hellions will attempt to push in beyond the cannons. 2 Banshees, 1 Banshee going down to Phoenix across the top end of the screen, another Banshee dying to a cannon, while the Hellions get microed and eventually die, accomplishing very little. The oracle
Those
stages
workers are still there.
Yes, our Terran has no idea what happened to those Banshees while he was microing those Hellions. The staged Oracle starts going in. Stage is the Terran Natural. Terran double expanding right now. Oracle arrives at the main mineral line, activates the pulse cannon, starts knocking things down. Terran will respond by losing SCVs. And eventually move a couple of Cyclones into position, lock on, and it's goodbye Oracle. So the Protoss enjoys only a 50% worker lead, which is somewhat dampened by all these workers only now after a full minute 35 being moved back to work. Nota attempting to expand out of his little situation, adding 2 more gates and 2 more starports. Star gates. Gates. 4 gates.
Oh, there's another Banshee coming in.
Always more Banshees. One good Banshee deserves another. Especially when you have no idea what happened to your last ones. Oh, that's what happened. Nice. Fortunately, Protoss has no detection, and additional mining time will be denied. Let's see how long these workers are out of position. It's 8:25. Meanwhile, back in the Terran base, the double expansion is moving along apace, morphing into orbital commands, and adding a handful of workers apiece, pumping out Cyclones, Hellions, and additional Banshees for a shove. An armory will also go down. Protoss now finishing up their 3rd base. Mr. Zach, what was the mining time denial count on those workers?
Only about 20 seconds that time. Oracle did a revelation on the Banshee and the Phoenix killed it. And the workers went immediately back.
So Nota's got the 1 idle gas worker in the middle of his main, well, corner of his main. And he's got adepts and cannons positioned throughout, apparently terrified of a Terran attack that could happen anywhere, anytime.
Like right now.
Like right now, yeah. Up here at the 3rd. Cyclones, Hellbats, Banshees, Marines, and a Marauder. A little bit of everything, because when you're not sure what to build everything. Kill the probe.
Apparently that pylon is spared.
Terran will take advantage of the extended range of lock-on to take out the cannons with very little pain. Plenty of Marines and Cyclones to deal with all of the Phoenix. So the Banshees are safe to put down the Stalkers. And there's the GG.
Tied 1-1.
What happens if I shift 1 here? Does it work? It does not work.
I think you'd have to return to game to do that.
So we will move on to game 3. And of course, they're all mixed up again.
Yeah, I don't know why that is for you. I guess because there was a zip and they all got created at the same time or something?
Yeah, it's the creation dates. So here we go. Nota versus UEAdmiral Game 3 on Cerulean Fall. And at the moment, I do not remember this game whatsoever.
I do. But I won't spoil it. Or be sure to do the scores and everything. And of course, Zulu.
And we go back to the usual early situation. Normal ass, normal game. Terran opting for a forward wall to secure the natural early. Workers crossing in the night. Moving out for their mutual scout.
I know in the last game,
Dude.
I know in the last game that the SCV pushed the probe around, and this time the probe and SCV kind of just pushed each other around.
Probe enters the Terran base. SCV pokes around. Doesn't enter the Protoss base, because who has time to micro that while you're microing elsewhere? Thou shalt not build a nexus in my base, the Terran says. There will be no nexus in my base today. But there will be a gas steal. But that's okay. We weren't going to use that geyser for some time anyway. And what?
Cancelled. What?
The Terran,
Oh, that's
exasperatedly
what you're asking, why?
confused. Why? Why steal the gas and cancel it? Why?
In case you feel like having a weird number of minerals. Now, I was actually observing this game as it was being played, and when you said why, I had absolutely no idea what you were talking about. I was very confused.
There's the Cyber Core, but no gas yet for the Protoss. The pursuing
strange.
SCV will pass by just in time to see the Nexus go down. Hey, the SCV will get a kill, justifying his existence. Well,
Yeah,
you're
but you have
there,
another
may
one
as well
just
scout.
on patrol in the natural. What's that about?
What was that about the natural?
You have another SCV in the natural on patrol.
Oh, the patrol is so he doesn't show up on my idle workers list. His job was to spot for the expansion when it occurs.
Did it do that effectively?
It would have if the other SCV hadn't aggressively pursued the probe into the Protoss main. So I kind of double scouted
to stay
that.
there forever?
Yeah, pretty much. I kind of double scouted that Nexus. The Terran will now...
Imagine if you had built a little bunker back there.
It wouldn't have helped me. I don't have any barracks units of note.
But what if you did?
If I had barracks units of note,
you
then I
dropped them
wouldn't
in there.
have everything else I have.
But you'd have a little bunker, though.
Pointless. Pointless! The Terran flies the racks into the main, planning to move the factory over onto the tech lab and build what? I don't remember.
When SCV finally leaves.
Reaper arrives and
lost your
gets
Reaper.
destroyed, saving the SCV, I suppose.
It would have gotten out anyway. There is an idle probe.
So here's the 4-minute Paranoia engineering bay, preparing for the inevitable oracle for which Nota is so well known.
Would it be there much sooner than that's going to be finished?
Yes, it would, unless, he was all distracted and shit. I knew he built all this other stuff first. It doesn't mean an oracle isn't coming, but it does mean an oracle is going to be delayed from what it could have been.
Okay.
Nota comments that oracles come at 3 minutes if he does them usually, but that'll be a 1-base oracle, and clearly Nota's been spending his minerals on other things.
Wait, 3-minute oracle? Is that right?
That's what he says.
That's terrifying. I guess Zerg has queens, so a single oracle's not that big a deal, but...
So the Terran has opted for a 1-turret defense in the main and Cyclones in the natural, and an idle SCV at the wall. Oh hey, the SCV actually goes back to work.
Maybe it heard you.
Stim is started ever so briefly, and then realized there's not enough gas for that yet. Let's start Cloak instead. Additional turrets will go down to defend the main from the perceived inevitable Oracle. And the third base will be grabbed. Here's the scan of the Protoss main. What is Nota doing? Nota is doing a Robobay-based play. So what do we want against a Robobay-based play? Apparently, we want Marines. We're making barracks. Nota now coming out with a couple of sentries. Still doesn't have Warp Gate. 6 minutes 15. Very defensive posture here. Cannons at both Nexus. Both Nexi. Bunch of units, cannons up at the main gate. Wall into the main. Adepts in the main. All kinds of defensive posturing.
Banshee coming in.
Banshee enters, sees the cannons, finds a nice little hole where the cannons can't fight. Banshee on hold position so as not to be baited into the cannon's fire, and just kind of sits here and makes an ass of itself. You can't build a cannon under a Banshee, don't be silly. Nota popping out a couple of stalkers. Does he have Warp Gate yet? Nope. They're slow building in gateways.
And only 2, even though he has so many gateways and a robo.
And
But
plenty of money.
Building. Yeah.
The Terran actually has a 4-worker lead here, which is rather unusual for this particular Terran. Oh, there are the stalkers. Cloak. Oh shit. We're still detected. Let's move a little bit. You can't see me here. Micro! Okay, I guess we're going home.
Meanwhile, you weren't spending anything either.
No, of course not. I was watching my Banshee do that shit all that time. I had to be very attentive of that Banshee in case he got some detection or moved some stalkers into range.
High key your barracks.
Yeah, that was probably a problem I had. I very often make the mistake of not hotkeying a building as I place it down, which results in I'm trying to micro while I'm away, or macro while I'm microing, and I'm only actually macroing on half my buildings. So a couple hallucinated Phoenix fly into the natural base of our Terran and quickly get shot down by a Thor and a quad of Cyclones, which apparently Terran takes as the symbol to push out.
What would you call a group of cyclones in the poetic sense?
I have no idea. There's the scan at the Protoss Natural, checking to see what defenses may exist.
How about a cavalcade of cyclones?
I don't know that word.
It's like a formal procession. Usually used for horses, but you could use it probably for vehicles.
You know what? I will take my cue from Daymaker there and embrace my World of Warcraft hunter history and call it a murder of cyclones, in honor of the hunter ability Murder of Crows. So I had no idea Nota had a totally clear view of my army down here at the bottom of the ramp. And I'm just trying to poke him, bait him, make a little bit of a nuisance of myself. It's okay if I lose Marines. They're just sacrificial. Now what I want to do is get lock-on these buildings, spot with a medevac, and just take them down. If he wants to pursue me, he has to contend with the rest of my forces. Oh, and some liberators too. Very nice. Once again, if you don't know what to build, build everything. Nota answering with Archons. But this is now a really solid contain. The only way Nota's going to get out of this is with a warp prism. Does he have one?
Or, blink. Blink stalkers could blink on the low ground besides the ramp, and then hit the liberators.
They would be quickly cleaned up by everything else.
And Cyclones would shred them that quickly, you think?
Cyclones definitely
Could
beat
also
Stalkers.
shade out there with all those adepts.
Yeah, shading out there would be a good call. Sort of. At the very least, it would get him some offensive capability.
It would be a distraction while the blink micro kills your libs, and then he can rush out with the storms.
So the
storm
Terran
everything.
continues to just take apart his Protoss opponent, just piecemeal, one building at a time.
Scanning for more bases.
Plenty of sensor towers poking around, making sure nothing comes in with too much of a surprise. Making sure to keep a few units at home for any kind of defensive option until the next time I hit F2. And we just kind of do this trickle siege thing until the end.
Poor Nota. The libs are OP. They confuse the AI and they confuse Nota.
And Nota, his comment in the stream chat, he's absolutely right. Tempests would have been an excellent answer to that. They would have had some capacity to answer the Cyclones and the Thors as well as the Liberators. Though they'd have to play some terrain dodging games against the Marines.
They're pretty fast now, though.
Well, that's going to conclude Game 3 of the RU Gaming Torment Series 2018 with a UE victory against Nota. We'll kick this down and start up the fourth matchup, which will be, I don't know yet, but we'll announce it when that comes.
It'll be Daymaker J versus me.